Classic death metal river time. Let's welcome these Finnish bastards called Festerday and let them challenge you with their death metal.
So before I just destroy my throat anymore, Festerday is here with the long-awaited debut album Iihtallan. Now, one might say, or ask rather, what do you mean by long-awaited? Well, this band was originally conceived in 1989, and now 30 years later, their final debut album is right now here with me. And this kind of needs an explanation. Well, Festerday was there for a few years before they kind of quit, or at least stopped existing under this moniker. These guys then moved on. Later on there was And Oceans, a black metal band, and when it was called it quits, they became Havoc Unit, kind of an industrial metal band. And later on, both of those two bands kind of quit also. Now Festerday is back, and Oceans is back. So when you go check out, for example, Metal Archives, make no mistake, all these three bands are different bands. So they are not the same band under different moniker. Let's just make it clear. And now we have covered all the history lesson. Let's take a look how this album actually looks like. First of all, this is kind of a weird sticker on the cover because it's not so much about Demolish and Exhumed with this music of the album. Carcass, surely, but only certain parts. But make no mistake, Festerday is all about creating old school death metal. Maybe sound-wise a bit more modern, but then again, the inside is very much classical death metal. Now, one more word about the history of the bands and the lineup here. You can see it's a five-man band, and three of these guys, for example, both of the guitar players and the vocalist, they are also in And Oceans, which is, like I said, I think I said already also active. So both of these already thought to be deceased bands are now active and creating material. I don't know about And Oceans actually how far they are with the material, but anyway, Festerday is very much back in the game, already done a gig or two, and their album has been out for a bit. It was released on the 4th of January 2019 by Season of Mist, so you might have already heard it, and if not, go check out your favorite stream services or the Bandcamp. The link is below to check out how this album plays out. Now, when you put this on your player, you might notice that there's actually 20 index tracks on this album. However, on the background, as you can see, it shows only 14 tracks plus a bonus tracks right here. The thing is, the last track on this album is actually a black metal track of sorts, and those tracks prior to that one are just to make sure that there's a little bit of silent gap before the actual music starts playing, because the rest of the album, that is all those 14 tracks, they're pure death metal, and band wanted for some reason to have a little bit of silence between the bonus track and the album. And by the way, I don't know if this is the everyday thing with this album, but my copy arrived with a sticker of sorts with the album. I don't know, maybe I should use this as a, hang something on the wall. I haven't yet figured out what to do with it. Now, music-wise, like I said, Festerday is all about yesterday's death metal. Festerday, yesterday, yeah, you can see the Carcass wordplay right there. And as such, it is very nicely done. Now, some of those bands of old, they surely belong back to the grave where they were dug out from, because it's not like every band can actually do a comeback with a decent release and all that stuff. But Festerday's guys have, greatly put effort into creating an album which is very much music of today as much as it is death metal of the early 90s. That is, all those riffs, ideas, how they're composed, vocal work from, growling to kind of a screamy parts, all also something in between, everything just finds its place nicely. The production is just wonderful. I mean, the guitar sound is close to perfection as well as the drums, and it's, as such, it's really, really nice to listen to this album. Now, being an album with over 50 minutes of total length, it's a little bit too much in my opinion. It's not a big problem as such, because obviously good music is good music, right? Doesn't excuse me, doesn't really matter if it's 30 minutes or 70 minutes. But for this kind of material, I would say 40-45 minutes would be kind of a maximum amount of music at one go. But like I said, it's not that big a problem. The thing here is, however, that there could be a little bit more diversity as such, because it's not like the album has a huge spectrum of different kind of death metal. It's mostly kind of a mid-tempo with some faster parts, and as such it works just fine. There are lead guitars which kind of add shades and colors to this brutal music, but to be honest, I don't think the band has still reached their top moments, those peak moments when the band actually is blooming with all possible colors of death and death. Now, this is a good album, make no mistake, and in my opinion, it was definitely worth the wait. I was expecting a little less, not because of these guys, I know they can handle good music, but whenever there is certain hype, I always feel like they're not gonna cut it, because it has been happening so many times. But I'm happy to be wrong here. I'm just happy that this turned out to be a really nice album and very good one to open the 2019 year for months to come. And one final word before I forgot to mention it. This name Iihtallan is Sami language, that is the people living in Laplandish parts of Finland, Norway, Sweden, whatever. And in their language, this name actually means a person who has gone mad for spending too much time with the dead. So while this album name at first might not ring a bell or two, and you're like, why they have such a boring name? Once you get to know it's genius, and it kind of has a very ominous vibe to it, very kind of a gloomy, like, what is this person like? What the hell has he done to spend so much time with the dead? And why Sami language actually has that kind of a word? Weird but interesting detail to know. So now, after my rant and talk and whatever, go check out those Bandcamp samples. Go check out it on Spotify or YouTube. The music is right there. Hope you enjoy some good old classic death metal, and stay brutal for the rest of the day. See ya and stay brutal.